Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. How you doing, my sweet friends, viewers, subscribers? Hope you're doing well. Really do hope that. Welcome to your post-match presser of the London Derby. That's right, West Ham versus Chelsea. And this was like so much emotional shift and change in this game. Graham Potter played a very exciting lineup considering the players available, and for the first 30 minutes against West Ham, it looked like we've done it. Enzo Fernandez, João Felix link up, the passes, the runs from Mudryk, James looking more like himself, returning it from Chilwell coming back, just lots of positive stuff. It looked like, not that we've solved it, but it looked like we were on the way to being where we need to be. We're going to talk about that today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your interactions. It means a lot. It does. As a content creator, I appreciate you liking the video and subscribing, etc. Get the microphones up for this one, because we got the microphones. Where's the press? Here they are. Bit late. João Felix is that guy. Playing in the free role, in the hole as a number 10 today. Confident and skillful. And we just need confidence. So it's a positive. Thank you. This is why I was all for getting that, mentality coach, Gilbert Enoch, whoever his name is. This is what we need. Look, we drew 1-1 to West Ham. Of course, it was Emerson Palmieri who scores the equaliser, ultimately winning West Ham a point. Away in the London Stadium, they played a 3-4-2-1. We played a 4-2-3-1. We had 72.2% possession. They had only 27.8 at home, but that won't bother them. No. We had more shots than them, but really in that first, you know what, let me just quickly check something as well. Really in that first half when we were dominating, that's when we should have put a foot on the neck. There is some really important elements to talk about, which this game, displayed to us, demonstrated to us, what's testament to this situation. And of course there was what I deem a scandalous decision in not getting that penalty for that handball. You had Peter Wharton going, obviously late in the second half, Peter Wharton going, yeah, it's a penalty. When you've got Jermaine Bloody Genius, who hates Chelsea, maybe he just hates West Ham more, but he hates Chelsea, saying, yeah, obvious penalty all day long, mate. It's a penalty. The player, he's not falling back and puts his arm down and then it hits his hand. It's, who is it? Is it Souček? I can't remember who it is. It's one of the Czech chaps, and he basically sees the ball coming down, he slides and he puts his arm to block. It's a penalty, bro. It's a penalty. Every day of the week, it's just a penalty. So we'll talk about the ramifications of where we're going in the build, but let's quickly talk about the game. 4-2-3-1, we had the continuation of Silva and Badiashile centre-back partnership in front of Kepa Arrizabalaga. First goal Benoit Badiashile has conceded in his Chelsea career, certainly in the Premier League. Fourth game in a row. He had 3 clean sheets and now a one also. He conceded that goal. It's not his fault though. A very positive Reece James performance back at right back, which prior to his recent outing, it didn't look like he was quite himself yet. It did today. Cucurella, we'll talk more about him in a moment. At left back, now we had a very interesting double pivot, Loftus-Cheek and Fernandez. So Rubenzo. It's the Rubenzo pivot. Yeah, I apologise in advance if you're hating on that. Of course, like I said, João Felix playing in the number 10, flanked by Madueke on the right, of course the left-footed dribbly winger, and Mudryk on the left. And we had Havertz up front. Now, I have no issue with this. I, in fact, really like this starting lineup, considering, the absentees. I would have wanted Chilwell to start. Maybe would want someone like Ifit and N'Golo Kante to partner Fernandez, though Loftus-Cheek, I think, did nothing wrong in this game at all. Up front, of course, Kai Havertz played. His effort is really high, and I wanted him to start this game because he's shown in that game against Fulham, the first game to Fulham, that he can combine really well with João Felix. He can. But although I don't think he was particularly awful in this game, he didn't necessarily offer what we need as a striker. I get it. I get why he started. I wanted him to start. I was pleased he started. I don't think he was awful. He worked his little socks off. He has got quality, but I don't think the most important combinations here, it wasn't Havertz and Felix. It was Enzo Fernandez and João Felix, like the two sort of like superstar signings of the window. And of course, they linked up for the goal. Enzo Fernandez actually winning man of the match on the BT Sports coverage given by the aforementioned Jermaine Genus. So he had a good game. Enzo's a great player. He's possibly the first name on the team sheet next to Reece James at the moment. Of course, we don't capitalise on the first 30 minutes of dominance in this game where we're playing liquid football, playing forward passes, and it's beautiful. And I feel like we're moving towards something. We had the ball free time in the back of the net, 3 times by like half an hour mark or something. And it was obviously 2 offsides, 1 very close, fair enough, whatever. But you feel like, frustrating. This game should be away from West Ham in the first half. But because we let them mentally stay in the game, that's ultimately why they win themselves a point. And at the very end, probably look the most likely to snatch the win. I feel like it would have been interesting to see if that penalty, which was a penalty, that absolutely was a penalty, should have been given, who would take it. Of course, because Jorginho is now gone. And looking, I guess Reece James would be a great shout. He always scores when he takes penalties in penalty shootouts. So maybe it'd be interesting to see if he took it. It would also be very interesting to see if João Felix would step up and take a penalty as well, because I feel like he takes penalties. Not entirely sure though. Havertz has taken a few penalties for us as well, and maybe as the number 9, it would do him the world of good scoring the winner. Possibly that as well. Now, moving forwards, yes, you will rightly all be very frustrated with this. You will be because the game was there for us. West Ham are in a relegation battle, and some of you were still daring to dream about what we can do in the Premier League in terms of a table finish. Now, I've kind of moved myself away from that, and I'm looking at what we are building on the pitch, and it is ultimately positive. So we'll talk about player performances. Kepa Arrizabalaga, fine, good on the ball. I don't think the goal was anything, his fault or anything. I think Reece James was excellent, much more closer to himself. Similarly, like both centre backs, still very good. I know we conceded a goal with Emerson making a late run at the far back post. Probably should do a bit better, but generally the defenders were fine, except Cucurella. Now, apparently he's going through some personal issues, or that's seemingly what the coach is inferring. So I'm reluctant to be like, yeah, you're rubbish, because he's not rubbish. He's proven to be a good player before. Of course, Man City wanted him. Chelsea bought him, overpaid for him. Yes, sir. But my giddy aunt, when Ben Chilwell comes on, we are a different team. Not because Ben Chilwell is the best player in the world. He's a very good player. I don't feel like he's reached James level wing-back, full-back, but he's very good. He's quite close. So when Ben Chilwell comes on, the dynamic of Chelsea, the offense of Chelsea is just instantaneously changed. In fact, I always talk about on the channel how he makes those inverted runs like a striker would. He nearly scored today from one of those minutes after coming on. He made that run, and he's got a striker's instinct, but he's a fullback and he can tackle. He's like Marcus Alonso with mobility, which is actually a big compliment. So that Ben Chilwell great, Cucurella not so much. Both the pivot was good. Loftus-Cheek did good. He looked a little bit gassed towards the end. He was the sort of ball carrier. Fernandez was the sort of quarterback and did some good defensive work. Like I said, he won man of the match. He got an assist. So Enzo Fernandez, great. You're a £106 million player. So, well done. It looks like you are. Loftus-Cheek, like I said, did fine. Felix, very, very good. Scored the goal. Looks confident. It looks like just give me the ball, boys, and I'll sort you out because you all don't know what you're doing. I a little bit. But the link up is there with Enzo as well. You always see that ball over the top from Enzo. Felix makes the run. Great. A great first-time finish from João Felix, and it was an amazing assist from Enzo. It was it was a lovely goal. It was dare I say, it was a wonder goal from Chelsea. Mudryk, not so amazing. You know, showed his value. Probably showed his value better in his defensive work rather than what he can do going forwards. I saw he made like a good tackle or a block in his defensive third. The commentary team were of course talking about how he's the fastest player in the Premier League in terms of top speed. His debut against Liverpool, he was clocked at 23 miles an hour or something. Madueke still looks, I know this is such a bleh thing to say, but he still looks very raw. Was he 20 years old? Something like that. He's obviously very good close control. He's a dribbler. So far, Potter has used him on both sides. I believe he I think it's his first start today, but when he's come on, he started on the left side and then moved over to his preferred right. So he's being utilised on both flanks, Noni Madueke. Of course, he's left-footed, so he prefers playing on the right because he cuts in on his left. And Havertz, yeah, he was all right. I just don't think I just think we're going to need a different profile of player up there. Whether that's Datro Fofana or not, I do not know. He was on the bench, but he wasn't utilised. I think probably because, Havertz, he did have a goal marginally ruled offside, and he wasn't awful. I know it's fun to hate on Havertz like it is Mount, but I think he's very, very good with just not being utilised right, and I think he's just doing a job the best he can, when he really is a very talented player when utilised appropriately. So subs, out of the subs, really the only one I'm going to give a double thumbs up to is Ben Chilwell. I was pleased to see Mason Mount ride the bench. He's been out of form. I don't want him to leave. I like Mason Mount, but he made a good run actually when Reece James found him when he came on, but not, I feel like maybe until his contract's sorted out, his head's going to be a bit frazzled. Conor Gallagher didn't really do much. I'm disappointed in Ziyech. He came on, he gave away that foul that led to a goal that was ruled offside. Thank the Lords for that. I think Ziyech's time is done. I think they're going to be sort of sympathy minutes. But who knows? Maybe he starts in the Champions League against Dortmund, and because of its a bit more space and all this, maybe it suits him better, and Ziyech puts in a really good performance in the Champions League. The rest of the subs, so apart from Chilwell, the subs disappointed me. And they probably would have disappointed Graham Potter too, but the Chelsea fans would have been happy with how Graham Potter set up with his team in terms of the personnel available to him. And watching that opening 30 minutes, it wasn't just the team selection, it was how we played. It was like, okay, this is what you want to do. Looks good to me, bro. It's going to take a while to get there, though. That's what we're here for, to look for that. It's another draw. Yeah, another draw away from home, but it's a sort of, domestically, it's a dead rubber this season now, isn't it? See, if we put in a really good performance against Dortmund, you might start getting those tingly feelings, but until that, just look for evidence of development on the pitch, and we saw a bit today, as much as that is overshadowed by a disappointing result. But what do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'll be very interested and pleased to read your comments. Like the video and please subscribe, and you know what? We're going to be okay. I think.